Let's get it going with Flipside Tactics versus Method with the commentary is Wavepunk and Findable Carpet.
We are here on DFH Stadium again, and the weather conditions could not be more perfect. They're the exact same weather conditions as yesterday. How crazy is that, Carpet?
It's actually crazy, Wavepunk.
Like it's the exact same day.
So I always find it fascinating because whenever Axel Toss looks at chat, he's like, wow, look at them. They're all hyped. They're saying, this is great. This is hype. You know what I see? I see, shut up and get on with the game.
Yeah,
That's
get in
all
the
I ever
game
see.
already.
Shut up and stop talking and just get in the game.
We're going to get you that game as fast as we can, ladies and gentlemen. Flipside Tactics in their Season 4 debut, going up against a Method who surprised everyone last week by beating Gale Force eSports. No, sweeping Envious. Getting the teams mixed up there. But it was crazy to see the results that they were able to put up there. Method going to try and do it again to another European Titan here in Flipside Tactics.
I mean, this is the game. This is the rematch. This was where they thought they could have had it. They almost gave themselves a slot at LAN. This was hands down probably the best game I ever casted, with these two squads going up against each other. So I'm just excited to see it again. But it's that huge question mark of what have Flipside been doing? Have they deliberately been keeping a secret what they're capable of? When Marky was here for overtime, I got to chat with him a bit, and he's not done. Like, he was definitely saying, he's like, I'm not ready to, to toss things in. Like, yes, people are getting better, and I'm not, the Titan I used to be, but he's definitely not ready to just like toss it in and give it up. So I expect that they've been doing some things behind the scenes. They are the kind of team that would kind of do that to troll people, just like, yeah, no, look at our main accounts. We have like 12 hours total. Yeah. But like in reality, they've just been like boot camping on some alt or doing whatever. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? These guys definitely. I mean, they have been the Titan of Europe since the very beginning of Rocket League, and have recently had some very significant challengers over the last few seasons. But they're still here. They're still at the top of Europe in many, many ways, especially as the most veteran players. So, can they repeat their success that they had against Method at the end of last season, or will Method be able to get their revenge here? Method's got to have a chip on their shoulder. They were so close to defeating Flipside Tactics and qualifying for LAN last season. They would really like to get their revenge here early in the Season 4.
And again, huge props to them for sticking together. Generally, when a team has something that's that close, it's more heartbreaking to get like second or just shy of LAN than it is to just be so far away, because at least you're like, we didn't have a shot, we just had a rough season. But to know that you were a goal in overtime away from making it to LAN is soul crushing, and a lot of teams usually break up because of things like that, either just frustrations or blaming each other, or just because they want to try something new. So big props to them for sticking together and trying to fight through to the season, and I think that's a big reason of why they performed so well in just week 1. And they're the kind of team that they ramped up throughout the season. They struggled in the beginning. Everyone had high expectations, and then they did better as the season went on. So I've got higher hopes for this team as well.
Well, we will get into game number 1 here. Flipside Tactics in the blue and Method in the orange to get week number 2 of European League play started off here on DFH. A best of 5, as always here. And Met's going to take an early shot, blocked away by Marky Duda. Shot was wide, but he will get the clear anyhow. Cookser will send it over and into the orange. Now Magnus picking it up off of Cookser's touch. Marky to wrap it around past Met, so follow it, but loses control as it's outpaced by the ball. Now this ball rolling into the net. Mystics there. What was this shot from Marky here?
I don't think it was. This remained orange for a lot of this. Magnus going up. It just barely touched him. I don't really... That interaction was pixel.
This is one of those times that when I watch the replay and I still don't really understand what happened.
Yep. Unfortunate for one team and very fortunate for another, but Flipside Tactics will get the first goal of the series.
Yep, they will start out here early in the first 30 seconds of game number 1. Cook's a notorious Batmobile player here, rounding out the roster of Marky Duda and Mystic. Marky and Cookser have been together for a very long time. Mystic, the newest addition to the Flipside roster, but been playing with them the entirety of the offseason. Marky will play this one down. Mystic was looking to continue it on, but got picked up by a lot. Defensive rotations here. Creative on the side of Flipside. Marky covering underneath. Wow. And now he's got a nice breakaway all the way down the field. Sends that one all the way. 3 players caught in the blue there for Method.
And look at this decision of Marky to follow Mystic immediately. He trusted to know that Cookser was coming back, and that alone is what gave them this wide open shot. Method all committing to something they did not have control of. And when I saw Marky come out of net, I honestly thought he was about to give a shot up. But since Method weren't able to keep control of it, it just gave him a wide open shot.
And now that's Flipside up by 2 here. Early in game one, Mystic and Marky working together as a pair in the offensive area again. Which will rotate and allow Marky push into the corner. Marky Dudar rocking an Octane right now, a player that's been trying to make the backfire work for him in competitive play. Let's go back to the tried and true here. Marky Dudar puts this one high. Mystic will send a shot downfield. Blocked away by Magnus, but he's able to put it back to Cookser, who finds Mystic, and now it's in the corner. A lot will put it back to midfield. Nobody really in net right now for Flipside. Magnus could take a shot, but Marky does get back in time as the shot took its time happening for the side of Method with 3:10 left to go. Method still yet to find the back of the Flipside net.
They really are just finding a little bit of difficulty keeping control, and even here on counterattacks, Flipside find a way to get there just in time.
Naris puts it into the corner. Cookser and Mystic both up on the backboard. The small pass over to Alot will go back across the field to Metz, who misses on the side. Marky Dudam moving down the field here, but Magnus does rotate. Get the last block. He was the last defender there for Method. A critical touch there for Magnus. Now Marky Dudam versus Metzenaris. Puts it high. Mystic will look to drop this one softly back into the box. Does not find contact. Marky Dudam sends another soft shot. A soft shot, yes.
Soft shot.
Down towards the net, does not find it. Metzenaris down the field. The shots for Method continue to come through here, but all generally towards Flipside defenders. 2:20 left to go. We've crossed halftime. Method still at a 2-goal deficit here.
I mean, they are dominating in shots right now in the scheme of things. 5 shots for Method and only 2 for Flipside. The 2 that have gone into net, we've seen them get close, but again, they're not committing until they know there's something in their hand.
Oh, there you go. The pass from the corner. Cookser puts in a third one, finding the transition rotation from Method, leaving nobody in net, and that's 3-0 Flipside.
And that is 3 for 3. A lot left alone. Metz and Magnus being a little too close, smacking each other out of their entire half. You're going to see a lot left alone in net. He had to close that gap. At best, he would have been dealing with Cookser taking a shot on an open net, which is not something I'd like to try and predict.
Cookser wins the 50-50 with Magnus, which puts it all the way back onto the orange backboard. Metzenaris puts it back out to midfield. The pass from Marky to Mystic. Downfield, Marky in the box. Looking for goalies, but not going to find any as Magnus on the backboard is able to play it away. Metzenaris a soft touch in front of the box now. Mystic onto the backboard. Alot does not get a solid clear, and Metzenaris actually plays it back into the midfield, but Magnus is there. Marky gets there first. Now Cookser coming in to take a shot. The 50-50 with Alot all the way back to the blue corner, and Flipside has to rotate onto defense. But with 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, up by 3, Flipside in a very comfortable position here in game number 1. They're on the verge of shutting Method out here. Cookser able to put it into the corner. Metzenaris waiting for Marky Dudam, but he's able to tackle and get the pass to Mystic, who takes the shot, playing it around a lot in the corner, and it's 4-0 Flipside.
I know the Flipside are playing clean right now, but it feels like Method's playing slower than usual. They don't seem to have the pace, but it's always so hard to determine a team's pace because you're always comparing it directly to who they're up against, right? So if they're going up against a team that's really, really fast, they're always going to just seem like they're playing slower or they're getting outpaced. So right now, Method doesn't feel as fast and as threatening as they have in the past. And Flipside, considering that they were a huge question mark, are playing really strong right now.
Kickoff strat's nearly working out for Flipside. The defensive Method will be able to send it away. Alot sending the ball into the midfield. No teammates around him as he moves it into the corner. Magnus will look for the pass towards Metz in the mid. Need a lot of offense here from Method in the last minute if they want to make a competitive game out of this. And at this point, really, the game's over, but trying to get a morale-boosting goal could really help, but instead, Magnus gets bumped into the corner. Cookser's shot is just wide off the post. Metzenaris will move this one back down. Not getting shut out, getting a goal here in the last minute would be good for the momentum game for Method. But game number 1 all but over here and in Flipside's favor. Mystic and Cookser down the field as the final countdown happens. And I agree with you that the defense just feels outplayed in general here by Flipside. They're able to get it around over the last few goals and the first few just on defensive mistakes and rotational errors. And will this go in? No, Marky will put it away and send it down. Flipside Tactics taking game number 1. And our best of 5 Method going to need to look to bounce back in game 2.
And when you just look at the way that Flipside plays, I've talked to Quinn a lot about it as he's got pretty good contact with Cookser. A lot of times when Cookser's in the game and he's thinking, the first thing he's thinking about, how do I get to this as fast as possible? What's the quickest route to this ball? What is the quickest path, the quickest aerial? How do I get to this ball quicker than anyone else in the field, including my teammates? And I think that alone makes him such a bully and makes everybody always question, do I bother going for this? I know Cooksier's next to go for it, and he's one of the fastest players out there. Is there ever a reason for me to go for this? Even if for the contest, I know I'll probably lose it and then miss out on a bunch of boost. So I think that alone is a threat. Market Duda, usually a relatively creative player in Mystic, now their new third, who has been doing really well. If you haven't been following along in the offseason, they've been playing with him pretty much since the moment Season 3 ended. Mystic almost immediately, the first DreamHack right after they had Mystic. So they've been playing with him for quite some time. As new as it might be for some of you, this is a roster that's been kind of warming up for the past few months. And Method, it felt slow for them. I do want to at least give it one more game for me to truly figure out if it's just they're being that outpaced. But they definitely did not feel like they were at their 100% skill.
Yeah, and it was, I talked about it there at the end of the game, that it felt like it was, a lot of defensive mistakes, a lot of defensive mishaps there, and the scoreboard represented that well. The 7 shots on both sides, but 1 save on the side of Method to 7 saves on the side of FLIPSID. They blocked every single shot the Method took. Their offense wasn't really backing them up, and their defense, the Method defense, just did not handle FLIPSID very well.
And defensive placement's a big part of it, which is why it's so tough to go against these teams like FLIPSID, because they can place it to the corner so well, or because they can clear it out so fast. Even if they do double commit, it doesn't really matter because their placement was so strong that both the players that committed are still able to either, they just decide from there. They both commit, someone just says something. I get ball, you go for boost. Or don't worry, I'll challenge, I'll commit to this. So then one person just goes up, one person drops back, but it was such a good hit initially that it really doesn't matter because you can't get that second or third shot to keep up your counterattack.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, FLIPSID here, they just did what they normally do. They found pass plays from the corner. We saw Marky Duda making excellent work in the one position, being able to get around a lot in the corners and stuff. And I think one of the situations, one of the solutions here for Method is to try and avoid those situations entirely by strengthening up your midfield defense, making the 50-50 game work in the middle. We've seen Mets and Magnus especially be as mechanically sound as any player in Europe. So if these guys can bring it down and let themselves do what they do best at that midfield game and be able to contest in the middle, I think that they have a very decent chance of bringing this back and making an even series out of it. But they're going to have to strengthen up their midfield game because their defense on their back, their defensive rotations are not working out. At least they did not here in game 1.
And I think a big part of it on defense when you're up against FLIPSID is to stifle whatever they're trying. So you always want to make sure that you have someone sitting in the corner waiting for it, someone on that backboard. A lot of times we saw Method coming from net, which I thought was a big problem from them because they're trying to meet them when in reality they should already be there to force them to play around them. But since they're both trying to get there together, all FLIPSID needs to do is just try and outpace them and get it out. But if they're already there, kind of bodying it or getting in the way, FLIPSID now has to come up with something new and creative to get around your car, or they're just going to lose possession because you're going to be there first.
Yeah, now on the offensive side of the ball for Method, I felt there wasn't any real strong shots we saw. Like we said, there were 7 shots and 7 saves there in game number 1, easily defended by FLIPSID. I didn't really see FLIPSID ever really looking uncomfortable in net, and it was a lot of corner play, a lot of playing the ball to the corner and then trying to take the shots towards the net. It didn't feel like there was there wasn't an offensive siege at any point. There was no multiple shots over and over again. It was kind of counterattacks and easily defended counterattacks. So midfield play could be a factor here, or a useful tactic for Method. Well, let's see what they've come up with in between games 1 and 2. So we get started here on Manfield. Cooks are onto the backboard. Marky Duda's shot will be blocked away. Metznaris hangs back far in the net, anticipating Cookser's long shot. Mets on the side, plays into the midfield here. Magnus will put it up high, and nobody's really airborne. Marky thought about it, but then he actually touched the crossbar and came back down. But a whiff from a lot in the backfield. Magnus will bounce this one off of Mystic. Be able to get a second touch here on the wall, drop it to Mets. Good team plays from Magnus and Metznaris. A powerful duo from Europe. A lot rounding out their 3v3 roster. Cookser will drop this one. I don't think he really meant to give it to Metznaris.
I'd assume not.
But the touch from Mets will put it into the corner. Mystic is kind of forced to drive it there. 3 players here from FLIPSID thinking about the offense. Mystic falls back as Magnus is able to get the block in the midfield. Now it's a lot in the one position, putting it out into the middle. Cookser's there first. Metznaris backs off and goes for midfield boost as Magnus sits in net waiting for the FLIPSID attack. Cookser will put it back onto the backboard. Marky looking for the last touch but not going to find it. Mystic will take An easy soft shot. Honestly, just putting it back into the box and buying his teammates time to fall back on defense.
You can see Method already this entire game, just this minute and a half, they've been avoiding the backboard as much as possible. Look at that beautiful drop down to a lot. The shot on target, it gets saved.
Oh, Magnus had an opportunity to possibly get there, but could not get grounded. Get speed in to get the final shot. And that midfield play we were talking about, I talked about at the end of last game, something that could be useful. Coming out there and making the first real meaningful attempt at offense for Method. Marky Duda had to use all of his defensive skills to block the shot. 3:12 left to go and still scoreless in game 2. Flipside with the 1-0 lead, and Metznaris makes a save in front of the box. Cookser keeps it in the orange, and Mystic, now airborne, will miss as the ball goes to the far side. A lot will follow it up, roll it up the wall, and put it into blue corner once more.
And they are constantly avoiding that backboard. Only taking shots when they can, trying to drop down for each other, always using that midfield, trying to get those hard passing plays from the mid.
A lot does not challenge. He opts to hang it back in net. He's able to block the shot from Cookser and get a 50-50 over the top of Mystic. It's up to Marky Duda right now, as he's the only player who's had time to eyeball this one, and he's able to block it away out to midfield. But the pressure now for Method starting to be put on as they take shot after shot into the backboard and on to the corners of Flipside. The shot from Metznaris is just barely high on the crossbar. Will stay scoreless as we cross halftime here. Method starting to find a better semblance of offense as they win their touches, but Marky Duda, the shot right there in front of the box, will give Flipside the lead.
Method a couple missed targets, and Flipside here to show them how to take the shots. Marky Duda just barely outpacing Magnus forward. A lot trying his best to get to net, knowing that on the off chance Marky Duda beat his teammate, he'd need to be there, but Marky's shot just came a little bit too clean and too quick.
Now the midfield game definitely tightening up here for Method. That's helped them avoid those defensive standoffs. But a quick shot from Marky, and a missed mechanical error there. Magnus will give a goal to Flipside. Cookser's touch, putting on the backboard. Metznaris will look for his teammate up on the side, but interrupted by Mystic. The pass to Cookser, the shot is high, but two defenders up. Can Marky Duda take a follow-up shot? And this one will be blocked away by Magnus. Mystic in to create another opportunity, and Cookser airborne will be looking for the net off the backboard once more into the box. A follow-up shot from Marky is wide, and Magnus in the corner cannot gain ball control, though. Cookser going to be able to play it past two players, and he will lose ball control there in the end. Magnus able to get it and dribble it out. Buy space for his team. All three players up at the midfield line here for Method. A lot comes flying in, gets the shot, and ties the game.
I didn't think they'd be able to execute a counterattack considering Mystic and Marky were both right there, but they attacked it together a bit too close. Mystic didn't get the contest he was hoping for, and Marky wanted to follow it up with that pinch, sending it right in front of net for a lot to finish it off.
1:33 left to go here in game 2. Method tying it up, scoring for the first time in the series. Cookser puts it into the corner. Marky Duda right there, falling behind. Touch from Magnus puts it right in front of Mystic, but he'll take his time to shoot. He's able to get it past a lot. Metznaris, oh, the flip. I think he expected Cookser to come in and try and touch it. Magnus will flick Marky and be able to follow this one along, but gets demolished by Marky as he follows him down. A lot to the corner. Metznaris backing up. This drops near Magnus. Final minute of game 2. Method down in the series, would love to be able to make the comeback here. Just need one more goal to tie it up at a game apiece. A lot, an excellent touch over the top of Cookser, but Metznaris demoed again. Magnus takes a shot towards the net and wide once more. A lot will try to keep it competitive, but honestly his touch just passes to Cookser, who sets it to Marky over the top of Metznaris. It's just Magnus grounded right now in the corner. Marky's touch into the middle. Mystic will put it onto the backboard, and it's just been Flipside all day as they score here. They touch the ball like 4 or 5 times in a row despite Method's best efforts.
They just kept getting outpaced, and just that touch right there from Mystic, knowing to go so high with it, knowing he was going to get contested. His idea was not to take the shot because he knew someone would be there. He respects his opponent enough to understand they'd go for that contest, but instead he goes for the high hit above the net to give it to his teammate.
And Magnus airborne. It's Method down by 1 again with 18 seconds left. Definitely possible to come back into this. Any goal would help them send it to overtime here. The final countdown, a decent position, but they've got to win these 50-50s. They get it past the first one. Mystic moves up, and he'll send it back towards the box. Now Magnus down the field. It's airborne, and Cookser will drop it straight down. Two players attack, and neither one gets a strong touch. FLIPSID Tactics, 2 games in a row here over Method, but game 2 significantly more competitive than game 1.
And the accuracy from FLIPSID right now, the first 3 shots in game 1 were all goals. In this one, they only had 5 shots and 2 of them going in. That's pretty big. You know, I mean, having I'm not going to do percentages right now. I'm sorry.
2 of them went in and 2 of them got saved. Only 1 shot looking like it went wide.
So, I mean, just in general, that's huge right now because I think a lot of teams in the RLCS have kind of gone to let's just keep taking shots, keep putting threats on. Even if we know they're saved, it's still worthwhile because we're making a goalie make a move, use boost, do whatever, until eventually you slowly break them down. But for FLIPSID to be confident in knowing that they can do that, but the beginning, the way Method played that entire first half of that game was all midfield passing plays. They didn't touch FLIPSID's backboard for probably 2.5 minutes. They didn't even bother. They're not going to bother clearing it. They know how good of defenders they are. So let's just keep it in our possession. Let's keep it right at the midfield where we're sitting and waiting, and we'll just take a couple of nice hard shots. And there were 2 that went wide, barely. They were open. They should have had them. But of all the things the team can fix, accuracy is the best one.
Yeah, accuracy, what we need to see Method tightening up because they did create good offensive opportunities in this game, but it was still the big mistake or the big error, the big flaw I feel like on Method right now is just their touches, their mechanical, their personal decision making when it comes to the defensive plays up in the back of their goal. It felt like once the FLIPSID was able to get it into their back third, they just suddenly stopped being able to make the plays we know they can make, making a lot of mistakes, a bit of panic possibly coming in here from Method. So keeping the ball away from their net was the best name of the game for Method. I mean, obviously, that's also the situation where you're going to get scored on the least. But just as far as their personal play, they're really struggling to rely on their backline defense. They need to keep it up on the front lines. Here as we move into game 3, they're on match point. FLIPSID wins this one. They will sweep Method at the beginning of week 2 for Season 4 league play. Right now, Method on the offense. A lot pass to Magnus. Shot towards net. Blocked away by Cookser. The follow-up from Mets will put it into the corner. And a lot will follow it up on the wall. Cookser actually passes into the middle. Magnus will look to see if he can double tap this one. Possibly looking for goalies. He fakes them out, but Mystic still falls and blocks Metzinaris. 2 shots in a row here by Method, defended well by FLIPSID.
And this right here, this threat from Method and just how well they are placing them in the midfield, passing to each other. Oh, Marky got in that shot. Mets would have been a deer in the headlights.
That would have been quite crazy. Cookser there with an excellent shot opportunity as well. Marky going to try and follow this one through. Draws Magnus up, but he's able to play it to the corner. Now Cookser is waiting on the side, though, to see if he can pass it back in. Mystic watching for Cookser. Here comes the shot from Mystic, and it goes. No! Blocked away by a lot. Drops down just in time. Excellent defense on both sides of the ball right now. And Cookser gets it away again. Are you kidding me? Marky Duda will play it away from the inbound offensive touch from the rebound shot there from Method, blocked away. Oh my goodness, the ball just doing laps around the fields and every defense having to play perfect, but we'll stay scoreless right now.
I mean, huge respect to all 6 players on this field, all making perfect decisions, making sure they're spaced out, not leaving a single gap, which is how these last-second saves are happening.
A lot, setting it in the corner. 3 players from FLIPSID up in this corner right now. Cookser will space out first. Doesn't even make contact in net. Marky Duda over the top of one, and a 50-50 one out, but Magnus gets to the ball first as it pinched to the side. He'll be able to potentially it onto the backboard. Mystic goes up. He's able to send it away. Now Magnus, shot towards the net. Cookser saves it, but the follow from a lot. This one on target. Marky Duda has to be there. FLIPSID having to play so much defense right now, but they hold on and they get the transition out. Now Mystic in the orange corner. Magnus and net, 2 players from Method underneath in the orange corner. Magnus gets the clear, but nobody really rotates around, and FLIPSID will be able to keep this one in the orange for now. Mystic with the back pass to Marky will put it into the far corner. A lot will just try to keep it there while his teammates sort themselves out in goal. Now Mystic to Cookser looking for the net. It's wide. And Mystic just tries to hold on. Both teams taking turns right now with just monumental amounts of ball control as Method moves back onto offense.
I'm not going to lie, it feels like both of these teams are like training under the same coach.
Yeah.
Their ways of attack are nearly identical, and just the way that they're never going for that backboard unless they know they just need to buy time. They're always trying to pass the hard mid, and there's always somebody sitting there waiting on both sides of the pitch.
Cookser with the pass to Mystic. The shot towards net, blocked away by Metzinaris. The shot was wide, but he gets the touch into the corner anyways.
Another one.
Now Metzinaris will put it back down again. 1:54 remaining here, scoreless in game 3. And what has been a beautiful game of Rocket League. A lot to drop it down in the middle. No one in a great position to immediately make use of it. Metzenaris will try to play it laterally. By time for his teammates, but 2 players missed from FLIPSID. Now the ball in the corner. Mystic will play it back to the side, and Magnus does not get the second touch, but still FLIPSID not totally sorted out on the defense. Mystic buying lots of time back there to give Marky and Cookser space to work it out, and they'll be able to transition off of his plays. Mystic working his magic on the defense, but Metzenaris with the clear. Again, back down the field, 1:20 left to go, and we still have yet to see a goal.
Not gonna lie, wait, this is like watching one of those live Bob Ross streams. It's just so pretty watching these guys.
I had no idea where you're going with that.
I've never been so impressed at both teams just executing like flawless passing and positioning, just the way that they're touching the ball as well. Like all these touches are so difficult.
It's just 6 happy little trees moving around the pitch. Marky Duda in the corner with an opportunity to pass back to himself there. Does not make contact a lot with the fake on Mystic. He'll flick it high, just try and get it around both defenders here. But Cookser will be able to play it away, and Mystic wins out this touch now. Back down the field, Magnus has to touch it away. And in the final minute of game 3, we might have overtime. Marky Duda with the shot, Magnus with the save. The defense on the back line that was a struggle for games 1 and 2 of Method has tightened up so well here. And with 30 seconds remaining, we're basically in golden goal territory. Next goal takes the win in this game. It's Marky Duda to move it down. Metzenaris to the corner. Mystic will look for Marky. And just midfield passes right now, but no shots towards the net. Neither team wanting to concede ball control. Cookser will miss the touch. Final 10 seconds. Final moments to do it in regulation. Metzenaris gets a pass too. It's just Cookser in the back. Can he flick him out? Puts it underneath. Metzenaris puts the team on his back and gets the win here in game 3. Just got the last 2 seconds.
Knowing the pressure was there and that Cookser had to do something, he opted to wait for Cookser to jump and then muscle it on through, knowing he wasn't grounded and didn't have the weight and momentum to keep his car still. Amazing play with only 2 seconds left.
Both teams going for the fake kickoff. Excellent decision there by Method to know that FLIPSID would probably go for something like that ball, but Cookser, can he do this? No, Magnus will play it over to the side. And this ball, will it touch the ground? There it'll go. Method in game 3. What a play by Metzenaris. Clip that moment for him. Not often that you get to say you completely dribbled Cookser on the RLCS stage.
He just pushed right through him, didn't even bother.
Yep.
Like, go on, jump. I'll just muscle it right past your car. Oh my God, if there's any replay that's ever worth watching, it's going to be that one. That had to be just one of the cleanest executions. I mean, even when you look at the shots, it's not that many. We were seeing shots, some of yesterday, some shots that were, what, like 13, 16 shots on net we saw yesterday, I think? So just the fact that we were able to see this little, but every single attempt was just so well placed. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, here Cookser able to get the save at the very beginning of the game. We talked about how defensive this game was for the majority of the time. That was a beautiful touch, a breakaway. Oftentimes these just go completely unanswered, but Cookser able to get there, blocking that shot, but not able to block Metz at the very end of the game. And what a defensive game. A wall here, 5 saves from ball, 4 from Method and 5 from the side of FLIPSID, but it felt like they were having to do so much more in the back lines.
And it was just back and forth and back and forth. And a lot of the decision making becomes that much more difficult when you're needing to do it last second, when you're retreating. When you're in a position like Cookser just was right there, like, you have to make that touch. And even that looked like it might not have gone in, but if it didn't, it would have just been sitting right there, halfway in the net, just perfectly, just delicious for anyone to come take the shot. So he needed to make that touch. That touch saved them from getting that early goal.
And got that one away. Came down to 1 goal at 2 seconds left. And Method survives game 3, but still in an elimination situation here. Game 4. Magnus up the touch onto the backboard here. The pass to a lot. Shot is defended twice now by Cookser and Marky Duda. I'll try to move this one out. The 50-50 game. Looking for a Method a bit here, but now Cookser, can he double tap this one down? Blocked away, sent away again. The defense is on both sides. Early game really showing up here as FLIPSID all kind of a mess here in the orange territory. Cookser falls back as he realized how tangled up they were, but Mystic will bump Marky. Magnus will try to take advantage of it onto the backboard, and what a touch by Marky just to pop it over the top of Magnus. Metzenaris will move it back downfield. Oh, and this one goes in. Where did Mystic go? I thought he would be a net. He was probably out for boost.
Yeah, finally caught them in a tight spot, but Mystic, he was really struggling. He had nothing left. He picked up 1 pad and then thought to turn around, but by then it was too late. And even, again, with 11 boost, he could have made the save. But that's where you have to assume and you have to trust your teammate. I know I'll get the contest. I've got time to get this boost. Because that's how FLIPSID has been playing this whole series.
Play that one away. And Method now with the lead. Game 4. Drop games 1 and 2. Put themselves in a rough situation, but they got the first win, and now they have the lead in Game 4. First 2 steps on the road to the comeback. Mystic can play this one down. Metanaris off the wall. A lot. The shot towards net. Nobody's there. Beautiful placement by a lot, and Method's up by 2.
I was gonna say this is clear for Mystic. The flip cancel too to continue following that through. That was really cool looking, but sadly no one stayed again. They trust each other a bit too hard to be able to keep those contests, which means they need to remember to respect their opponents. Their opponents can make those 50-50s go just as hard in their favor as they can, so they need to make sure not to leave the net open, especially if they don't have full control.
Cooks are airborne. Send this down the field to Mystic. Gets it off the backboard and a touch from a lot to wrap it all the way back around the field. Cooks will try to buy time for Markey, but a lot now airborne. He'll try to double tap this one in, drops it into the net, and a lot's having the game of his life right now. 2 great goals in a row.
They really are just swapping control right now. This is what the first game looked like. A lot.
That was beautiful.
A little bit of a showcase there of his skill, just to remind everybody how great he is too. He might not be Mets and the Magnus pair, but it doesn't matter. A lot strikes in their 3rd goal.
I was going to say after the last goal, the 2-0 lead there, the 2-goal lead from Method, the largest lead they'd had all series. Now it's 3. And Flipside's got their work cut out for them. Magnus will block 2 airborne offenders there from Flipside. A lot up on the wall. Wrap back out. Marky Duda with the follow, possibly looking for Mystic. Cherry pick. Magnus, he nearly fell on that from the sky. The Flipside now winning some 50-50s in enemy territory. The pass to Cookster will try to get it around, but Magnus intercepts. Flipside will back off. A lot's touch is kind of strong, but oh, look at the touch from Magnus to give it back to a lot. The shot back towards the net will be defended and sent away. Touch from Mets to put it in the middle. Now Cookster to Markey. Magnus to play it back to Mets. Mystic towards the backboard of Method. 2:40 remaining here in game number 4. Method needing to win 3 straight. They've gotten 1, and they've got a substantial lead here. A bump on the Markey gives Metanaris the opportunity to move it up. They'll be looking for a lot in the midfield. Cookser to Markey. Mystic with a follow-up over the top of Magnus. Metanaris goes up and gets a soft clear. A lot they try to bump him in net, but not able to find him as he still makes the save despite the pressure. Now he'll look for Metanaris and plays it behind him there. 2 minutes remaining now. And the time's starting to run out for Flipside.
They need to get 3 goals, which is not going to be easy. Whoa, there's a good way to start it though. Cooks here off the sidewall, following that through.
He'll play this one up just by himself. The star player from Flipside Tactics will do it all by himself. Upper crossbar shot there. Beautiful placement, and now just a 2-goal lead for Method. Can they hold on? Or will Flipside be able to mount the comeback here and send us home in 4 games?
It's actually kind of crazy, just my mentality, even looking at like 3 goals in 2 minutes. No, not possible. Yeah. They score 1 goal, I'm like, oh, easy. 2 goals in 2 minutes?
Yep.
It's crazy the mentality of just what scoring a single goal can do in Rocket League.
It really does change it up, but they still have to do it at least 1 more time to make this a really competitive game. Cookster to drop it back towards Magnus. Mystic hangs in the corner, just wants to watch Magnus' decision, but he dribbles it underneath him. Markey's able to challenge, and then Mystic touches it into the middle, but a lot moving up will challenge and play it back to Mets. Metanaris to pass outwards. A lot doesn't like what he sees, but here comes Magnus. A lot will be spawning in the back, and the strong defensive back line that was a struggle game 1 and 2, more critical than ever now for Method, as they want to send us to game 5. They've got the lead, they've just got to hold on here. Metanaris will play it in the corner. A lot to take a shot towards the net. Cookser with the block, but it pops back out into the middle, and the offense will continue here for Method in the final minute of game 4.
The Flipside is looking for that counterattack. That's why they're not trying to force it out too early. They know they can get the 0-second goal, but they're just trying to find the moment that Method overcommits for a single touch.
Mystic looking for Magnus in net, doesn't find him, and Metanaris is able to get a block, but nobody's home right now. Metanaris plays it past Pulp. Oh, no! But a lot trying to save it at the last moment, actually puts it in and creates that 1-goal margin.
An attempted bump on Magnus messed up that initial touch. Mets thinking he had to come in to help him, but then Magnus still recovering in time. So that's where that first double commit came from, and then a lot, sadly, putting that in for his opponents.
A lot. He gets a hat trick in this game, just one was in the wrong net. He scored 2 of the goals for Method so far. Again, just needing to hold on in these final 30 seconds. Method do it, send us to game 5, or will Flipside, who have oftentimes down through the years been the comeback kings. Magnus gets demolished in enemy territory. Mystic and Cookser up here, possibly looking for Marky. Cookser sends it onto the backboard, nearly does it. It's on the backboard again. Metzenaris plays it away in the final 10 seconds. Marky looks for Mystic, but Magnus will get the clear downfield. A lot with another touch just to loft it over the top of Mystic, and Magnus will put in one more to secure the win here. Game 5 inbound. Method's won 2 in a row.
And that Flipside drive was as close as it can get, but Method kept their cool, and then on top of it drove the counterattack. Just drive in the fact that they had this victory, 2 goals up, bringing this to game number 5 after losing the first 2. 1 game away from a potential reverse sweep against Flipside Tactics.
They have brought us to the critical game 5 when they were on the brink of elimination 2 games in a row now, and now the winner of the next one wins the series. We started off yesterday with a reverse sweep, I believe. No way it happens.
So. I mean, this is how Flipside started their season last season, getting reverse sweep by leftovers.
This is true.
So, don't make it a pattern there, boys.
I feel like we've just cursed it by bringing up both of those patterns.
No, there's no such thing as a curse.
We'll see what happens. Oh, there can be curses.
No.
Curse gaming?
Nope.
It's a thing.
Nope.
Was a thing at some point. Method.
I don't feel guilt for anything I say.
That's okay.
Nope.
They had 8 shots. 8 shots, a lot, putting up 2 goals, at 3 goals, technically, if you want to count the own goal there at the end. And an assist for himself, a lot. The player we've had the most questions about on Method after seeing how well Magnus and Metzenaris can play in the 2v2 scene. It's been great to see him really fitting in there. And he's been on this Method roster for a while, but still, the synergy between Metz and Magnus has always been a thing. To see a lot getting active on the defense has been brilliant.
Now, real quick, just think in your head. How many shots did each team take? I'm not actually quizzing you, but I implore you all to think for a second, because it was only 8 shots for Method and 6 shots for Flipside. But these games feel like it's just constant shot after shot, but it's because each drive is so creative and is such a big threat that you feel it. A lot of those 16-shot games that you watch, they're all easy saves. There's 3 or 4 of them, maybe actually real threats on net. 2 of them might go in. Right, and sometimes people get carried away and they really break that defense apart. But these defenses are there, and they're having to find ways around them. It is impressive.
And I feel like sometimes with certain teams, they'll put up 5 shots in 10 seconds or something, and so then these guys are spacing them out, taking them one at a time, but a lot right off the bat here. What a beautiful play off of the kickoff. Magnus over the top. Marky Duda has to make the unideal save, and a lot will send it in. Methods up.
Cookser got a side flip there last second. I don't know if he had the boost for it for sure, but he wanted to try and get up there sooner for that to at least meet him at the ball, but he couldn't in time. The reaction time's just a bit too quick. And Method will take the lead in the first 10 seconds of the game.
He scored last. They scored first in game 4 as well. Can they hold on? Marky, a pass to Cookser. Shot towards net is wide. Marky Duda with a follow-up, but this one's significantly weaker. Magnus up on the wall will try to get it past Mystic just by faking him out. Force Mystic to go high, but it's not going to work out. Flipside will stay on the offense for now.
You mentioned that wide shot from Cookser. That was 100% intentional, trying to get it around the defender. Marky getting there for the cut just last second.
Able to put this one in off of the pass from Mystic in the corner. 2 touches to get it around to him. And poor Magnus, he was right there too. A good read by Magnus, but just a better read by Marky Duda. Ever so slightly better to get there faster and tie up the game.
Sigh of relief for Flipside, tying it up in the first minute. Early goal for both teams. Now they're just going to treat it as 0-0. And game number 5, who's going to take the series?
Cookser onto the backboard, out to Mystic. This time Magnus is there. Able to send it into the blue, a lot into the corner. A lot of pace on this ball. These players moving very quickly. Magnus onto the backboard. Metzenaris will look for the boost steal, but there's nothing there. A lot will pick this one up. He did a solo goal in the last game. Can he do it again? This one blocked away by Cookser. Marky Duda wins the 50-50 strong against Magnus. Metzenaris will install it for a moment, but the breakaway there right in front of Cookser, and Flipside's got the lead.
The moment Marky realized it was just against one, notice how quickly he got up to try and just make sure he got that 50-50. He didn't need to win it, he just couldn't lose it. He just had to make sure that he didn't lose any ground on it, because Cookser, he knew, would be hot on his tail, so he made sure that went a neutral 50-50, and Cookser sunk it in.
Situational awareness there from Flipside, going to give them the lead. Magnus now to look to see if he can tie it back up. Fakes out 2. Needs to look for this goalie. was just Cookser in the back there, but he wasn't able to get grounded. Kind of got caught up on the post. Now down the pitch. What was this off of? This went off of a Flipside player to tie the game. What a crazy situation.
This has to be the most incredible goal Cookser could have ever touched. That angle. You have to try for that.
I think he got helped by Metz.
Pretty yeah, I think he may have gotten bumped, but that's got to be a bit crushing. But tied up again now. 3.5 minutes left.
Oh, what a series. You and Shogun were talking about, this was the series of the season, it felt like, last season.
They're keeping that reputation.
Mystic to fake out Magnus, but a lot down the field. Cookser needs to play to the side, and nobody's still in a good position in net. But yes, the Method versus Flipside series becoming a classic right now. Mystic with the flick. Magnus over to the side. Down in the corner, Metsinaris looking up for Magnus. Play it past him. A lot down the field. And gets the dunk over the top of Markey. Goes for the bump on Cookser. The unideal, it's not the right word. Not the best of clears. Alaa will put it back into the box. And they're just keeping, they're able to keep Flipside from getting solid clears here, which is just giving Method multiple opportunities here right as we crossed halftime. Still tied up, but Method slowly trying to just get as much hold on this game as they can.
4 shots apiece per team. They're keeping it even.
Mystic, soft shot, blocked away by Magnus. This is very similar to games 3 and 4 where it felt like teams just taking turns, just suppressing offensive pressure. Cookser over the top of one, Markey to take a shot towards the net, blocked away by Magnus, pass to Mystic, tries to turn around and actually gains ball control, takes the soft shot again, but a lot is there with the read. They've got one player in the back for Method. Metsinaris moves up as a lot rotates. Markey to look to try to take a shot towards the net, is high again, and Magnus will send it over to the side. Now a lot underneath Mystic with a pass to the middle. Markey Duda unable to make the shot, possibly trying to screen for Cookser here. Now Metsinaris to move it back down. 1:26 left to go, still tied up in game 5.
Just watching all these passes, even on defense, every single player.
Markey, they're so close. Oh, Metsinaris plays it away.
Not that away, but kind of away.
Cookser will get, okay, the touch will pinch out and into the blue. Even a little bit of space here, but Flipside, what feels like for the last minute has been on offense here. Mystic with another opportunity to shoot, but Metsinaris, excellent positioning in goal, will play that one away. Markey Duda, luckily, is in the back, and this will not be a breakaway. Flipside just continuing the pressure here. Magnus gets another save to send it out, and a lot will slowly try to get it past, but Cookser's there. And they just continuously are answering. The 50-50s in the corners right now for Flipside, giving them so much control. Mystic with another shot here. This one's wide. Markey will put it back in the middle. Cookser in, but Magnus plays it away. Mystic the shot towards the net. Cookser gets the save. Alaa gets another save. What is happening right now? Trying to rotate out. Cookser actually blocks the shot from Mystic.
I don't know where they're getting all this boost from.
18 seconds.
And the counterattack.
Metsinaris puts it in. Oh my goodness. It just took them flying down the field. Flipside amuck on the defense. And Cookser's touch is not the clear they needed. Oh my, there's 17 seconds left. It's a 1-goal game.
Oh, after a minute and a half of impenetrable defense, even using Cookser to help part of that, Method somehow turned that around for the counterattack after dealing with Flipside just breathing down their necks.
And can they do it? 10 seconds. They've got to hold on. And the reverse sweep will be a reality for 2 opening series in a row here. Cookser to play it up. They can still do this. Mystic puts it on the backboard, but it touches Method with a reverse sweep over Flipside Tactics, the revenge from last season. What is this from Flipside? Reverse swept in their first series 2 seasons in a row.
Unbelievable play from every single player on this pitch. I cannot state it any more frequently. I have never been so impressed watching. I stand by it. This is the Bob Ross of Rocket League matches.
Yeah.
It's just had to be, like, it was every single touch, every single movement. I was captivated. It was such a pretty game, and Method fought so hard for that win. They deserved it, but Flipside Tactics, everyone had a big question mark. I think any other team, like I don't know who could have kept up with either of these teams this match. They really were just at each other's throats that whole time. Unbelievable.
I talked about the backline defense a number of times. I just want to point out how significantly this changed from game 1 where we saw like 7 shots and 1 save. Now here 10 shots from FLIPSID on 7 saves from Method. So much work they had to do there right in front of their own goal line, but they held on. They get the win. The reverse sweep over FLIPSID. FLIPSID's got to be kicking themselves on that one. That's quite the pattern to have, getting reverse swept the first series of 2 seasons in a row. But we have a whole day of Rocket League.
That was series number 1.
That was series number 1. Every series behind them has a lot to make up here. That was quite the bar to set. But we'll talk about that and more. Let's go back to the desk.
Guys, I'm trying to catch my breath right now. What an absolutely amazing series to start out the day here. A series that had a little bit of everything. FLIPSID coming out super hot. Looking pretty good going into Game 3, and then Game 3 was deadlocked, 0-0 until, 2 seconds left. Yeah. Method able to score to get a victory at the very end, and then able to pull off the reverse sweep in that last game. Just so close, so back and forth. Just incredible defense from Method throughout that whole time. There was no such thing as an easy goal. And I wonder about that last opportunity where it seemed like Cooksier saved it, and he was actually passing it back to Mystic, perhaps. Remember that last attempt there at the end there?
It was
I wonder if that was on purpose. It's just FLIPSID was trying to do anything to make it in, but I am still trying to catch my breath myself. Let's take a look at the mobile one. High performance replay. Get a recap of that one. I feel like, what highlights do you choose? Just a phenomenal series.
So me and Shogun were watching this. Games 1 and 2 were relatively slow, but this game 3 play by Metza was huge. That 1v1 dribble on Cooksier of all people to win that game with 2 seconds left, and then Method turns it on. But FLIPSID finally showed up too. I thought games 1 and 2, both teams looked a little sluggish, and we're like, oh, we might expect this from FLIPSID, but not Method. But then FLIPSID turned it on as well. Just defense on both sides of the field playing out of their minds.
Yeah, sluggish game is always going to suit FLIPSID. They are very good at winning those challenges, and those are going to happen a lot during a sluggish game. But once the pace started to get picked up, Metanoris really kicked his team into gear with a couple of really good plays to end Game 3 and start up Game 4. And then ever since then, I mean, the casters said it, it was a ludicrous series. And once again, a lot comes out big. He played very well in that, gets himself 5 goals overall, so he is continuing to impress.
But that Game 5, FLIPSID, for the last 2 minutes of the game, had the ball on the offensive side, save after save there by a lot. And honestly, Method, I thought they were done at that point. There was from 2:30 to 30 seconds. Yep. It was just FLIPSID onslaught, one shot after another, and a lot of good challenges from Method to keep it alive, because there was a lot of good 50-50s where the ball would just get out just enough so someone could go grab boost so that they could challenge and keep it up. And then the counter goal. That's got to hurt for FLIPSID. Again, getting the reverse sweep as their first game of the season. But last time they did it as well, and they still battled back throughout the season. So they still have 6 series to go, but it's a tough one to swallow.
There's no easy matches either in the European region. FLIPSID has to play Envy, I should say, a little bit later, right? So tough schedule for them. But I wanted to mention, everyone's been there, right? You Rocket League players at home, where just to speak towards the end of that last game, where FLIPSID was just mounting that pressure, 2 minutes of non-stop aggression towards the goal, and then it just took a second, Method the other way, scoring. And everyone's been there, where you feel like you're applying the pressure. It's why doesn't it go in? How are they saving it every time? Turned around and scored. Just what an amazing series to start out the day, guys. I actually want to go to some of the community. We got a lot of comments and questions, particularly the Rocket League subreddit, where Cloudfield has a thread there, and there's a question from Fred3000 about FLIPSID, talking about Greasy. Greasy left FLIPSID because he felt he didn't fit their playstyle anymore. Do you feel Mystic is now a better fit in the team? If so, how? Thank you, Fred3000, for the question. The main question there being Mystic versus Greasy. I thought FLIPSID looked good, but what do you guys think?
So during that series, I thought they could have used Mystic more. I felt like he was just that third passive player for most of the series, and I think he's too talented to be that role. I feel like there was a lot of plays where Marky was up front and he would miss the deflection or miss some weird aerial shot that I think Mystic might have actually had, say he was up there. So try and get him involved more on the offensive side, I think, is a better role for Mystic. But he knows how to play that passive third role. He had to do it for Northern Game in all season 2. But I think for FLIPSID to have some success, he has to get involved on the offensive side.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It seems like after a very tough preseason, they decided to go back to what worked at DreamHack, and that was Mystic, you are the back line, Cooksier and Marky are going to do a lot of the other work. But there was a lot of times where 2 players were going, and Mystic seemed to just be like, it's yours.
Yeah,
a lot of the time. Yeah, this could go either way. This could either be Mystic even needs to get his voice out there a little bit more, or the team just isn't really allowing it to happen. Either way, that three-way rotation needs to happen a lot more. Very few passes. It only started to come in towards the end when they were struggling to break through Method that we started seeing them cut in field a little bit more.
Yeah.
They need to use the width on the field, because once Method figured out that backboard, they struggled a lot with getting some decent shots on net.
All right, well, Method with an incredible victory there over Flipside Tactics. They're moving up to 3-0 in the standings, and Flipside now 0-1 in the standings. Both these teams are playing a little bit later. Method's playing in match 4 against Gale Force, and Flipside is playing against Envy once again in match 5. That'll be our last match today. But coming up next, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got Gale Force eSports going up Excel. We're going to take a short break here from the Rocket League Championship Series. Stay tuned.